Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, your voice is
This is
cracking.
the first page of the fourth section. I hope it is visible to everyone. Okay, I'll read out
No,
some
ma'am.
part.
No, ma'am.
Okay,
No, ma'am.
let me share the screen again. Wait. Now is it visible?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Let me try again. Let me try
Blank
again. Let
screen.
me share the screen one more time. Wait.
Okay.
Is it visible?
No,
ma'am.
Not yet.
No, ma'am.
Yes,
Let-
it is showing that you have started screen sharing.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
Okay,
ma'am.
okay.
I
Let's
can
let's
see
let's
your
wait,
PPT.
beta. Maybe there is a connection issue. Sometimes during the evening hours we do have these unstable connection problems. Let's wait for some time because it takes time for buffering. I'm trying again.
Ma'am, PPT screen can be seen.
Ma'am.
I am not sharing the wait. Let me see one more time. I'll do that.
Ma'am, it is just showing that you have started screen sharing.
Okay. It will be visible in a moment. Let's see. Okay, till that time, I'll ask some questions. Till the time the screen is getting shared.
Ma'am, your voice is cracking.
Now,
Your voice is cracking a lot.
can you hear me now?
Now it's yes, okay. Ma'am.
Okay. So my first question is, where are the Java Islands located?
Ma'am, can you repeat?
Where are the Java Islands located?
Ma'am, in Indonesia.
Indonesia. Indonesia.
Okay. It is famous today. If we talk about it today is in contemporary times, Java is famous for. Okay, children,
Ma'am, what
I'm
happened?
back again. I'm here. I'm back with you all. All right. So now I was asking you this.
Ma'am, your net is fluctuating or what?
Yeah, it's because of the unstable internet connection. So my question to you is, Java is famous for producing which crop? Which particular crop?
Rice.
It is mainly famous for producing rice. Okay, and then another question will be, which we have covered yesterday. Which particular colonial power had was ruling in Java Islands? Dutch belong to which country? They belong to
Netherlands and Germany.
German.
very good.
Netherlands and
Germany and Netherlands.
Very good. Okay.
Germany and Netherlands. Germany and Netherlands.
Okay, we discussed this yesterday. Can you tell me what was the similarity? What was the similarity between the colonial powers and in India and Java? What similarities were there in both the countries?
Ma'am, the British wanted timber from the forests from both the countries. Ma'am, both of them needed that wood for their navy.
For building ships, yes, very true. Just like the British, even the Dutch, they wanted timber from the Java to build their ships. And in the year 1600, the population of Java, how much was the population of Java?
3.2 million.
It was 3.4 million. Estimated 3.4 million. It was that was the population of Java, and over there they were practicing which kind of agriculture?
Shifting cultivation.
Like India, they were also practicing shifting cultivation, but when the Dutch they colonized the Java and in Indonesia, they forcefully enacted the similar kind of forest laws in Java also, and they forced them to grow timber trees which were useful for building ships and railway sleepers. Now I will share. Let me see if I am able to share the screen again. We will come to the woodcutters of Java. Is the screen visible to you? now?
No.
Okay.
No,
No,
ma'am. You
ma'am.
explain, ma'am.
No.
No,
Can't
ma'am.
see from your lesson only. I'll explain just like this only. Okay, the woodcutters of Java, the
Ma'am, it
Kalangas.
is buffering.
It's okay. Let me start with the lesson. Okay, now which particular community
Ma'am, your
was?
voice is cracking.
Ma'am, now it's
Ma'am,
visible.
it's visible.
Ma'am, it's visible now.
Okay, good. So now my question is, which particular community was famous in Java as forest cultivators, shifting cultivators? The Kalangas. Very good. Here it is mentioned in
Ma'am,
your
can you repeat?
the Kalangas, Kalangas, Kalangas of Java. Okay, so the Kalangas of Java were a community of skilled forest cutters and shifting cultivators. They were so valuable that in 1755, when the Mataram kingdom of Java split, the 6,000 Kalang families were equally divided between two kingdoms. There was a split there was a kingdom, Mataram kingdom in Java, and there was a split. But this community was so valuable at that time in the 18th century, in the 19th century, that in 1755, that would be 18th century. So there were 6,000 Kalang families, and they were divided equally between the two kingdoms. Why? The reason was they. Okay, children, I'm back again. I'm back with you all again. Okay. Okay. So I was talking to you about the Kalanga community in Java. Am I there? Is everybody there? Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I was talking to you about the Kalanga community of Java. They were skilled forest cutters and they were experts in shifting cultivators, and their community was so valuable that around 6,000 families of the Kalangas were divided in equal when the Mataram kingdom of Java was split. Because without their expertise, it would have been very difficult to harvest the teak trees. And for the kings to build their palaces, even the teak trees, you already know, it is a very durable, it has a durable timber for building. Similarly, when the Dutch began to gain control over the forests in the 18th century, they tried to make the Kalangas work under them. Similarly, just like earlier the kings were making them work for them, similarly, the Dutch also wanted them to help them with the cutting of trees, cutting of the forests. In the year 1770, the Kalangas resisted by attacking the Dutch fort at Doana. So similarly, they were also getting harassed, and they were also facing many problems due to the new forest laws implemented by the Dutch people. So they also rebelled. In which year? In the year 1770. But the uprising, again, just like in the case of India, just like in the case of Bastar, similarly here also the uprising was suppressed. Okay, now I will come to the next section, that is the Dutch scientific forestry. Again, it is very much similar to the British scientific forestry. In the 19th century, when it became important to control the territory and not just people, the Dutch enacted forest laws in Java, restricting villagers to access the forests. Now, wood could only be cut for specified purposes like making river boats or constructing houses, and only from specific forests under close supervision. Villagers were punished for grazing cattle in young stands, transporting wood without a permit, or traveling on forest roads with horse carts or cattle. So children, here you can see in Java also similar situation was there. And in your textbook, there's a picture which shows a train transporting teak out of the forest in the late colonial period. Okay. Also, as in India, the need to manage forests for shipbuilding and railways led to the introduction of forest service again here in Java. In the year 1882, around 280,000 sleepers were exported from Java alone. However, all this required labor to cut trees, transport the logs, and prepare the sleepers. The Dutch first imposed rents on land being cultivated in the forest and then exempted some villagers from these rents if they worked collectively to provide free labor and buffaloes for cutting and transporting timber. So you can make out here how the people of Java were getting exploited for providing this timber to the building of boats and ships. This was known as Blandong distance system. What is the Blandong distance system? In this system, the Dutch first imposed rents on land. Okay, they were supposed to pay the rent for being cultivated in the forest, and then exempted some villagers from these rents if they work collectively to provide free labor and buffaloes for cutting and transporting timber. या तो आप रेंट पे करो जमीन का, अगर आप रेंट पे नहीं कर रहे हो तो आप फ्री में आपको काम करके देना पड़ेगा. So this was known as which system? Blandongenstein system. ये आपके टेक्स्ट बुक में दिया है. Let me try sharing the screen for all of you.
Ma'am,
I'll try to share the screen one more time.
excuse me, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, yes.
Ma'am, if you are not able to share, can someone else share the screen if they have the textbook?
Ma'am, it's visible.
It's visible now?
Yes.
Good.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay. So beta, here you
Yes,
can see the before we are on section 4.2 Blandongenstein system. What is the system? Either you have to pay a rent for the territory you are living on. Either you have to pay rent. If you cannot pay the rent, then you have to work for free. You have to provide free labor and buffaloes for cutting and transporting of timber. Later, instead of rent redemption, forest villagers were given small wages, but their right to cultivate forest land was restricted. So this was a little change in this system, wherein rent exemption, instead of the rent exemption, they were given some kind of a wage, a little wage, but then they were not allowed to practice any kind of shifting cultivation. Okay, now we'll come to the section 4.3 Samin's challenge around 1890, that is by the end of the 19th century again. Here we are going to talk about how the people started rebelling. So who are the Samins? The Surontiko Samin of Randu Baltung village. Okay, it's the name of a person. A teak forest village began questioning state ownership of the forest. Again, they started rebelling. Which year? By the end of the 19th century, just like in India. He argued that the state has not created the wind, water, earth, and wood, so it could not own it. Soon, a widespread movement developed. Amongst those who helped organize it was Samin's son-in-law. But by 1907, 3,000 families were following his ideas. Some of the Saminists protested by lying down on their land when the Dutch came to survey it, while others refused to pay taxes or fines or perform labor. So similarly, the same time when rebellions were happening in Bastar, similarly here we have the times of the 19th century and the year 1907. I hope this is clear to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now here you have the map again. Okay, this is the map in front of you. You have the Java here, Java Islands, the Sumatra and the Borneo. This entire is known as the Dutch East Indies. Okay. So figure 22, most of Indonesia's forests. I'm here back again with you.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, yes. Yes, you can ask your question. Yes, if you have a query, you can ask me a question.
No, ma'am. No.
You went for.
Yes, ma'am, you were not
The
there.
connection is a bit weak, so that's why I'm getting disconnected. So again, children, here this is Java. Let me tell you, here in this island earlier, here as we have just studied, mainly rice is being produced in this region. But now there was a time when it was richly covered with the teak forest. Here it is written also. Okay, it mainly in Java, the Dutch began their scientific forestry. The island, which is now famous for rice production, was once richly covered with teak. Okay, now we'll come to the Next section, war and deforestation. Now we're going to talk about how war had an impact on the forests in the world. Okay, the First World War happened between which years? Who will tell me quickly? Tell me fast. First World War. We had two world wars, you know. First World War and Second World War.
1914.
1915 to 1919.
No, it's actually between
1914.
1914, the year 1914 to 1919, after which the League of Nations was formed, and the next Second World War happened between 1939 to 1945. 1945, after which the United Nations was formed. Okay, so now here we're going to talk about how both the world wars, had a major impact on the forests, because forests were required for timber. For which purpose? Many things from the forest were required for war. How? Let's read it out. In India, working plans were abandoned at this time, and the forest department cut trees freely to meet the British war needs. India में ऐसा हो गया कि British के war needs से तो बहुत ज़्यादा पेड़ काटे गए उनको supply करने के लिए. In Java, just before the Japanese occupied the region, the Dutch followed a scorched earth policy, destroying sawmills and burning huge piles of giant teak logs so that they would not fall into Japanese hands. Just because they did not want the Japanese to, to take all the, these supplies from the forest, they burnt all that down. They destroyed everything. Even they destroyed the mills. The Japanese then exploited the forests recklessly for their own war industries, forcing forest villagers to cut down forests. Many villagers used this opportunity to expand cultivation in the forest. Okay, so what happened? Even the local people, they wanted to do some cultivation for their own sustenance. So again, forests were being recklessly cut. After the war, it was difficult for the Indonesian Forest Service to get this land back. Okay, as in India, people's need for agricultural land has brought them into conflict with the forest department's desire to control the land and exclude people from it. So I hope this is clear how the wars had a major impact on the life, not only the life of people, but mainly the forest. The deforestation on a very large scale happened in this particular two wars between 1914 to 1919 and between 1939 to 1945. As it is shown in the figure 23, Indian Munitions Board war timber sleepers piled at Sule Pagoda ready for shipment. So again, this is a picture from Indonesia.
Excuse me, ma'am.
In the year 1917. Yes.
Ma'am, you are just telling, right? You are not sharing the screen, right?
I have shared it. Let me just share it one more time. Oh, we got disconnected. Okay,
Ma'am, we are not.
Okay, I'll share it one more time. Yeah, it's not shared. Let me share one more time. Can you see the picture here? Figure 23.
No, ma'am.
Okay, let's wait for a moment. Let's wait for a moment.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, we are.
Now here in this picture, can you see these
ma'am.
piles of logs, teak logs? So these logs are required for providing timber for the sleepers for the railway tracks. So this is a picture from Pagoda, Sule Pagoda in Indonesia, near a shipment in 1917. The ALEs, there were two, different groups. On one side, it was the Axis powers, and on the other hand was the ALEs power. Axis powers was like mainly dominant. Mainly we had the Japanese, and on the other hand, in the ALEs we had the Great Britain, France. These were the countries. So they both were having a war at that time. So when we're talking about 1917, it means the First World War. Okay, so the ALEs would not have been as successful in the First World War and the Second World War if they had not been able to exploit the resources and people of their colonies. Both the world wars had a devastating effect on the forests of India, Indonesia, and elsewhere. The forest department cut freely to satisfy war needs. तो बेटा अगर उनके पास ये रिसोर्सेज नहीं होते तो वो इतने सारे वॉर, इतने सारा डिस्ट्रक्शन कर भी नहीं पाते. But then they had all the, you know, because these were their colonies, they were able to do this much of damage and destruction of the forest, and again leading to further damage and destruction in both the wars. Okay, now we'll come to the end of this lesson, new developments in forestry, which means, you know, in the later years after independence in India and in the late 20th.
Ma'am, your voice is cracking.
Okay, is the screen visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I will be sharing the recording, so you will not have any problem. You can go through the video one more time. Okay, then it will be more clear to you. Okay, all right. So now this is the last section of this lesson, new development in forestry. Since the 1980s, governments across Asia and Africa have begun to see that scientific forestry and the policy of keeping forest communities away from forests has resulted in many conflicts. It's not about the conflicts also, children. The forest dwellers know the forest much better than other people. So they know how to conserve the forest. They know how to protect the forest. They know how to protect the soil in the forest and various species of plants and animals. So the thing is, people by the end, the scientists, the ecologists and the conservationists, they started realizing by the late 20th century that all this scientific forestry and doing plantation agriculture and, you know, trying to remove the forest communities from the forest and displacing them is actually not good for the ecosystem. It is not good for the forest and conservation of forest. Okay, conservation of forest rather than collecting timber has become a more important goal. Children, you must be aware, even today when you are studying, you are there in school, we always keep on telling you about, you know, reforestation, stopping deforestation. We are always spreading this word around. So this has started happening since the late 20th century. Government has recognized that in order to meet this goal, the people who live near the forest must be involved. In many cases across India, from Mizoram to Kerala, dense forests have survived only because villagers protected them in sacred groves. Groves means jungles, known as Saranas, Devarakudu, Kan, Rai, etc. Some villages have been patrolling their own forests, with each household taking it in turns instead of leaving it to the forest guards. Local forest communities and environmentalists today are thinking of different forms of forest management. So now we are trying to conserve the forest to save them from further devastation and destruction. So this brings us to the end of this particular lesson. Here is another figure here for all of you, log yard in Rembang under Dutch colonial. This is a picture of Java. So children, shall we do a quick exercise now? Are you all ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So now we'll begin with a
Yes, ma'am.
little exercise from your lesson. Okay, question number 1. Is the question visible to everyone? Okay, okay. Let me share the screen. Let me share the screen. Let me share the screen. Wait. Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good.
Ma'am.
Tanungya cultivation was a system of cultivation in Nepal, Bhutan, Tibet, or Burma. I showed you a picture, remember, if you remember the lesson very well. Tanungya cultivation is a form of shifting cultivation.
Tibet.
No,
Burma.
it is Burma. The right answer is Burma. Very good.
Burma.
So the correct answer is Burma. Next is the Dash of Java were a community of skilled forest cutters, Gonds, Santhals, Kalangas. Was the Kalangs who were a skilled forest cutters, and they also practiced shifting cultivation. Then the Mataram kingdom in Java split in the year Late 18th century.
17.
Mid of 18th century. Yeah, it is
17.
1755.
17.
Correct answer is 1755.
1775.
Okay. It's 1755. Okay. Now around 2,80,000 wooden sleepers were exported from Java. ये question में error है. ठीक है? Were exported not from India, but it was exported from Java to India for the sleepers, the making of the railway tracks. So it was which year? Which year it happened?
1882.
Very good. What the year?
3.
1600. In the year 1600, the population of Java was estimated at how many million? 3.4. Java is famous for producing what?
Rice.
Rice.
The colonial power in Indonesia.
Dutch.
Dutch, ma'am. Dutch. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Java is in
3.4.
Indonesia. Brazil is
Indonesia.
the staple crop of Brazil is
What, ma'am?
cassava is another name for that crop. Manioc, जो आपका साबूदाना बनता है जिससे it's more like a root. वो root जैसा होता है और जमीन के अंदर उगता है. Okay, and then they take the root out और उसको साफ करके खाते हैं and they make flour out of it. So it is also known as cassava. In India, it is famous as sabudana. We eat sabudana, so that is called the manioc, which is the main staple food in Brazil. Next question: the communities in Java that lived in the mountains practiced which form of agriculture?
Shifting
cultivation. All right, children, this brings us to the end of this particular lesson. Wow. So now I will be sharing you with you the rest of the section 3 and section 4 question answers. I will be sharing on the group. Please complete them. But this weekend on Sunday we have a class test, and I'm working on Google Classrooms and the G Suite also. And soon, and please prepare for section 1 and section 2, and we'll have the test on Sunday. And then now we have a next class on Monday. No, yeah, we have a class on Monday. Next Monday we have a class now, right? Yes. Yeah. So next Monday we will start with French Revolution, which is very fascinating. Okay, we'll start with the new lesson. We have finished the lesson today, and I will share the question.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, on Sunday we'll have just section 1 and section 2 class.
Yes. Section 1 और section 2 का टेस्ट ही लेना है बेटे, और उसके अगले हफ्ते में मैं section 3 और section 4 का टेस्ट लूंगी नेक्स्ट संडे में. ठीक है, आपके पास पूरा हफ्ता है, आप आराम से क्वेश्चन आंसर्स कर सकते. और अभी आपका टेस्ट. Okay. I have got reconnected again. So children, next week is about to end now. So this week we have a test, and I will share you the assignment and the video very soon. Okay. So now children, I will be ending this meeting. We are about to finish. Yes.
On Sunday we'll have just section 1 and section 2, right?
Yes, section 1 and section 2 only. Yes. And the timing will be between 2 p.m. to 2:40 p.m. Timing will be between 2:40 to 2:40 p.m. and I will inform you, and because I will be taking together, I will be taking a test for every one of you. Both 9th A and 9th B, I am going to take a test. 9th A, 9th B, 9th C, all three I will take a test. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
All right. So I am disconnecting now, children. Okay? All right, then bye for today.
Okay.
Hi, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome. Bye-bye.